Good evening. This is the CBS Sunday Night News. I'm Susan Spencer, sitting in for Charles Osgood. From Bethesda Naval Hospital, all the news is good. President Reagan said to be on a spectacular road to recovery from yesterday's 3 hours of surgery in which doctors removed a growth and part of his large intestines. The only minor problem reported today was a slightly elevated temperature, but spokesmen call that normal after such an operation. More from Gary Schuster.
A White House photograph taken today shows President Reagan in his hospital suite receiving some loving care to speed his recovery. But White House spokesman Larry Speaks said the president doesn't need much help in that regard.
The president has been up and walked about his room briefly today. He spent about 45 minutes sitting in a chair and reading.
Earlier in the day, Speaks said the president's doctors believe their patient is ahead of schedule on the road to recuperation.
So far, Dr. Oler says it is a spectacular post-operative course. Vitals are rock stable. That includes temperature, pulse, and blood pressure, and lab studies are totally as expected. The president has required no pain medication overnight, and in fact, this morning he's virtually pain-free.
But tomorrow is a crucial day. Mr. Reagan finds out if the tumor removed from his intestine was malignant. There are 4 scenarios. First, that the growth contains no malignancy, which is the case about half the time under these circumstances. Or that there is cancer present, but it is localized within the tumor. Or it could be locally invasive, possibly going up to or into the bowel wall. Or it could have spread through the bowel wall. Doctors say the last possibility is unlikely because they could not see or feel any growths outside the intestine. Speaks dismissed a report today in the London Observer that the president decided against possible exploratory surgery last year following signs of growths in his colon because of his race for re-election.
That's not true. That's all poppycock, as the British would say.
Speaks said the president will approach tomorrow's biopsy report with his usual optimism. As Speaks put it, when you get to know the man, you know he can handle anything that comes down the pike. Gary Schuster, CBS News at Bethesda Naval Hospital.
Get well wishes to Mr. Reagan are flooding in, among them one from Daniel Ortega, the head of Nicaragua's Sandinista government, who sent, quote, best wishes for a speedy recovery. The president often has accused Ortega's government of being a source of evil in Central America. Election officials in Mexico met today and are expected to certify results soon, giving the ruling party a sweeping victory in the national elections that were held last week. That's likely to spark more protests by the opposition party, which has charged vote fraud. One group of about 250 protesters is preventing traffic from entering Mexico at Douglas, Arizona. They have blocked the border since Friday. And it will be several days, too, before Bolivians know the results of their national contests. More than 1 million Bolivians went to the polls today to vote for a new president and Congress. With inflation running at nearly 9,000% annually, the country's economy was the only issue. The expectation that the leftist government will be routed out of office. Early returns show former dictator, retired General Hugo Banzer Suarez leading. Well, in both London and Philadelphia, the cleanup will take days, but promoters of yesterday's Live Aid concert say proudly, so will counting the money the concert raised.
This is Live Aid. What amount would you like to pledge?
The organizers had hoped to raise $14 million for famine relief in Africa. They said today $70 million was pledged during the 16-hour global jukebox. The next problem, getting trucks and other vehicles to distribute the food all that money will buy.
Today, there's a real need for everyone to protect against skin cancer. A major cause is overexposure to ultraviolet rays. So every day I use Youth Guard, a moisturizer with PABA, which can help reduce the risk of skin cancer. And Youth Guard gives me the moisturizing I need, helps protect against lines and wrinkles, leaves my skin soft and smooth, feels light, not greasy. Youth Guard, the moisturizer with extra protection.
Your days go by fast. Your work never seems to end.
That's why Whirlpool refrigerators are designed to make your world a little easier. Our most advanced model has a new monitoring and control system you can program for maximum cooling, and our famous no-fingerprint doors. Whirlpool, quality appliances.
We're making your world a little easier. Whirlpool makes it easy.
The Major League Baseball Players Union has been talking with the owners about a new basic contract, but the talks have made little progress. So the union meets in Chicago tomorrow, and Commissioner Ueberroth is predicting a call for a walkout.
They're going to set a date tomorrow, which is being called a strike date. It's not a strike date, it's a failure date. It means both sides have failed to come together. It's not a victory for anybody. The fans lose, the players lose, the owners lose, everybody loses.
Commissioner Ueberroth says he'd guessed that a strike might be called for August. The pesticide watermelon scare on the West Coast has ended, and people there are buying melons at a fast pace. California had recalled and destroyed suspect melons, but now the state is letting growers resume sending them to market. And although sales of watermelons in the West are brisk, in the East they're rather, well, melancholy. Bill Whitaker has that story in Atlanta.
It's a sign of the times. East Coast grocers want customers to know their watermelons do not come from California. Since some 300 people in the far west got sick last week eating pesticide-contaminated California watermelons, growers from Texas to Delaware have had a huge slice cut from their $150 million market.
Our sales are about 50% less than normal.
Sales have plummeted in the Northeast. Distributors are throwing away unsold, rotting watermelons.
We're losing a lot more watermelons than we've had previously.
In Florida, watermelons are rotting in fields. No matter the contamination was limited to California, southern watermelons are suffering from guilt by association.
I wouldn't know the difference. I haven't bought it since the scare's been on.
There's no way of determining where they come from.
The problem we have had is that the northern consumers don't understand that watermelons from North Carolina aren't having the same problem as the ones from California.
To convince consumers their fruit is safe, southern states have stepped up testing. If the market doesn't improve soon, southern watermelon growers say the season could be the worst they've ever known. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Atlanta.
Tomorrow is the 10th anniversary of the link-up of U.S. and Soviet spacecraft, and Soviet newspapers used the event as a launching platform to call for a revival of détente. And as David Andelman reports from Moscow, a few signs of an effort to improve relations already are cropping up.
It's not Hollywood, not even Cannes. It's Moscow, the Moscow International Film Festival, where, along with the Russian and Greek entries, the American Soldier's Story has walked away with a gold medal.
It's been a long, long winter, and it's time for a thaw. And I feel it, and I feel a more relaxed attitude among the people, among the artists.
Thaw, a word that's being talked about a lot in the film festival corridors and throughout Moscow. Most of the talk a result of the Kremlin's new boss, Mikhail Gorbachev, and his whole new way of looking at the world. Hordes of French workers are descending on Moscow to meet their Soviet counterparts, just a prelude to the visit to Paris that Gorbachev scheduled for October. He's playing the China card, too, one of the highest-ranking Chinese delegations in years in Moscow to sign a multi-billion-dollar 5-year trade agreement. American Express and Pepsi have long been in Moscow. Now, after a long series of negotiations, Coke's just joined them. Talks are in progress with other American companies more than in years. With schools, too, like Phillips Academy at Andover, which brought a third of their faculty over for what they thought was some pretty frank talk with their Russian colleagues.
Drug abuse is not a problem in this country. It's not an issue. I mean, it's not nearly a fraction of what, unfortunately, you people have to deal with in the United States.
The key question now, what will it take to translate hospitality into political agreements between East and West? David Andelman, CBS News, Moscow.
AT&T is in a bonny business. Since Scottish and Irish Imports of Annapolis added AT&T 800 service, catalog sales are up 75% in just 2 years, which makes their bonny business a booming business and gives you one more reason to choose AT&T long-distance services, the better business machine. Talk with us. AT&T, the right choice. For over 50 years, there's been a unique insurance corporation. A corporation that insures only one thing, your money. But what makes it even more special is that it has the full faith and credit of the United States government behind it. The Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation. Your money is safe, not just because it's insured, but because of who insures it.
For many years, alligators were on the endangered species list, but they managed to propagate themselves off it. Now, not only are they on all those knit shirts, but they're even down on the farm, where, as Peter Van Zandt reports, the creatures mean cash.
Like most farmers, Ed Froelich likes to check his crops from time to time, but his crops don't like to be disturbed. Froelich is an alligator farmer.
Yeah, it's a little different than hog farming and chicken farming. When you're working with animals that have the potential of biting you, then you naturally take the proper precautions.
Froelich is raising more than 4,000 alligators at his farm outside Orlando, Florida. Like cattle, these reptiles are raised for hide and meat. Tanned alligator skin is used in such products as wallets, belts, and cowboy boots.
Once they get it on their foot, it's a very soft skin. I want to have that alligator.
You want to have alligators?
I love it.
And in a role reversal, people are eating alligators. More than 300 restaurants, primarily in the Southeast, now offer some kind of cooked gator.
I think it's delicious.
It's really good and very tender.
There's a good choice skin right there.
Froelich hopes the demand for alligator hide and meat will make him a rich man. It costs him about $60 to raise each gator from hatchling to slaughter size, which is about 6 feet. That takes about 4 years. In today's market, the average farm-raised alligator is worth about $430, representing a tidy $370 profit per beast.
We like to think we can make a living out of it, and a comfortable living.
Alligators used to be on the endangered species list, but with 16 U.S. alligator farms and years of legislative protection, there is now a glut of alligators. Florida game officials say the growth of gator farms has also cut down on illegal poaching.
The people who now are involved in the commercial utilization of alligators, in many cases, they are people who were connected with the illegal harvest.
Meanwhile, back on the farm, Froelich tends to the herd. Despite his fondness for gators, he says they don't make good pets. Alligators are not affectionate. But Froelich says they do have one redeeming personality trait.
They never, what I call, get ugly. Now, a crocodile gets ugly. But a gator, he's always got a smile on his face.
Peter Van Sant, CBS News, Christmas, Florida.
We'll leave you smiling, too. That's our news this Sunday. I'm Susan Spencer, CBS News, New York. Have a good week.
It's your money, son. But if you want my advice, buy another Subaru. It's been good to us.
Sure, Dad.
I thought we agreed you'd buy a Subaru.
But, Dad, I did. The new Subaru XT Coupe. Inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Want to build a super day? Then start with the one great taste that makes a super bowl of cereal. Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Just think of crispy golden flakes.
Delicious, crunchy flakes of corn.
So pure and simple, just can't wait.
Low in sugar, loaded with vitamins and iron.
So good for you, don't hesitate.
For a super bowl of our most nutritious corn flakes ever.
What a super bowl. Have yourself a super bowl. Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Super taste, super good. Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Australia's Mel Gibson, star of the latest Mad Max movie, and an interview with author Norman Mailer, tomorrow on the CBS Morning News.
This is CBS.
Where's this? Florida. A four-door Chevette from National Car Rental was only $69 a week. Oh? Those other bargain places had too many hidden costs, like deposits and mandatory gas charges. Where's this? California. This Chevette was only $99 a week from National, with unlimited mileage and convenient airport locations. Hawaii, right? Yes, $69 a week. How'd you guess? The volcano's a giveaway. This summer it pays to get national attention.
Sarah Lee invites you to a relaxing little supper. with Mueller's sandwich croissant. Tempting little meals tucked inside a light, flaky Sara Lee croissant. Ham and Swiss cheese. Chicken and broccoli. Settle back, huh? The night has just begun with Mueller's sandwich croissant. Tempting little meals from Sara Lee.
Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. Weekend in the morning, gotta get to Denny's. Get an omelet, a 3-egg omelet. Makes order just for you, yeah. We cut, we crack, we mix, we pour and we top.
And serve you any one of our omelets, cooked to order for just $2.99. Now through August 31st.
Denny's in the morning, we're cooking breakfast for you.
Spellbound, Sunday at 11:35.